Sometimes when we deal with dogs who have a past, we expect them to be grateful because we are giving them an awesome life, right? We are providing them with a sheltered home, with love, with food, with everything we can do. But if they show some kind of behavior we don't like, sometimes we can get into a spiral of thinking, what an ungrateful dog. So today we just want to bust that myth of gratefulness. First, yes, everybody tells you that a rescue dog will be grateful. And what they mean by that is that a lot of dogs who get rescued are just normal dogs. They are very well behaved, they are really cute, they are super snuggly, and they just don't show anything that we don't like, right? Or it's small things, but who cares, right? But there are also many dogs who show some kind of behavior we don't like. And of course, that might be because of my specialization in this, but I see a lot of reactivity on leash. So a dog who is lunging, barking, growling whenever he sees another dog or a person. And this is something where the thought of ungratefulness comes up pretty quickly, because we kind of expect the dog to be happy to get out of a situation that was more or less horrible, right? And have a loving home now should be something that makes the dog grateful. But our dogs do not show lunging, barking, growling on leash or pulling like crazy or things like that because they want to annoy us or because they are ungrateful or because they are bad dogs. They just don't know how to do it differently. They are uncomfortable in a situation, and this is what they came up with, and this is what is working, right? Because they want more distance, and when they lunge and bark and growl and go crazy, they get the distance. So this is working, and this was their first idea, or this was what they were resulting to. So we just need to teach them something different. Another thing that very often leads to a thought of ungratefulness is fear. If we see a dog who is fearful, and very often what happens is a dog who was at a shelter or at some kind of environment, maybe with a bunch of different other dogs and two caregivers, and was completely normal, not afraid of the dogs, not afraid of the people, just a regular, happy and easygoing dog. But when that dog moves into a new home, everything changes. Everything changes. So that might lead to fear. That doesn't mean that the dog is ungrateful that he has now a loving home. It just means that everything just changed. This is also what sometimes happens when humans who were in prison got free. They have a little bit of issue adjusting to the normal reality, right? Because what they knew for a longer period of time or forever was very different to what they're experiencing now. And it's the same thing for our dogs. Some dogs have been in a kind of a bubble, so they knew their doggy friends and the people who took care of them, but that was it. They didn't know tiled floors, they didn't know doorways, the TV, the vacuum, cars, people, everything that's going on in our day-to-day lives. So this is, to start with, overwhelming. And it's not that the dog is ungrateful that he's now loved and safe and treated awesome. It's just that he didn't know anything different, and now everything's different, and that's scary. So whenever you get the feeling that your dog is ungrateful, and that happens, it's normal, try to figure out if you really have not been able to make any progress in training, because this often has something to do with frustration. And yes, if you are trying to get leash reactivity, so lunging, barking, growling, under control and you have been at it for 3 years and you don't see any kind of improvement, then yes, you have to change something. It's not that the dog is ungrateful, it's just that whatever you're doing is not working. But if you have a new rescue dog for 2 weeks and you haven't seen any progress, that's normal. It just needs time. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish, what you're doing, who your dog is, and what's actually going on. And that takes a little bit of intuition or experience. And that's why it's easier to figure that out with a professional. So if you're not sure and you don't want to do it alone, go do it with a professional. But your dog is definitely not ungrateful, and your dog either does not yet know what we want from him or does not yet know how to be trustful. But you can get there with just a little bit of patience or the right techniques or both. So have fun training, and we'll see each other next time. Bye!